All right, we're at like 14 now. That's good. How you guys doing? Is that a cat?
Yes. This
Wow.
is my
Is
she
it,
likes to hang out.
yeah? It's a good student?
Yeah, she's very good. A little bit
Yeah.
of a distraction sometimes, but
Interesting. We have other pets here? No pets? Disappointing. Did anyone do that cat survey or a cat study? No. Missed out. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for checking in. Hope you are doing well, healthy. Yeah? You're safe or healthy? All right. Started you guys off with some music, trying to lighten the mood, keep you energized. Let's see where we're at. All right. Give me 1 second. You guys have a disturbing lack of books in your houses. What's up with that? Where's all the books at? No books?
They're in my car trunk.
Books. Look at this. Look at books. It's all real books. Even
I'm
read.
not in my house, so
What's that?
I'm not in my house, so that's my excuse.
Oh, that's your excuse?
Yeah.
You could have brought them with you.
Who does that though?
Yeah. Everyone can hear. Any issues? I see many of you. It's like most of you are muted, which is okay. All right. Anyone else do you guys have you done this before today? Or other meetings today, other class meetings? No? Any issues?
I had one at 2.
They went at 2. Did it work?
I'm getting kicked off.
What's that?
What?
Did it work?
I keep getting kicked off.
On this one or the 2 o'clock? Yeah, I don't know. It might be a connection issue. All right, well, we'll just kind of work our way through. Mainly what I want to do today was just go over what's coming next and kind of the changes I made to the course and kind of get your feedback on where we're headed. As we mentioned before we left, obviously this is all kind of a work in progress. It's all kind of done on the fly. And so even the things I'll present today, like if we can change them if need be. So I definitely will appreciate your feedback and letting me know either from your own experiences or just kind of your general ideas about what's going to work, what might not work. And if we need to change things after today, that's fine too. So I just kind of wanted to open up the conversation and see where we're headed. Yeah, so I think we can just get started. You can all see the PowerPoint? Yeah. If you're new to Zoom, I think you have options of reacting. We all know that. If anyone's familiar with this, how would you describe where to go for reactions?
There should be like a chat feature also where you can.
Yeah.
If you're like on the computer, it should be like at the bottom of the screen, like when you go on the screen.
Oh yeah, you go to the bottom of the screen. You can chat and share that way.
So if you're on what I'm hearing is if you're on a desktop, you should have at the bottom of your Zoom window some options for chat and reactions. Okay. Anyone using mobile, a phone or a tablet? Yeah, Isaiah, where do you see chat options?
No, I don't see that.
Anyone on mobile see like a chat option or reaction option?
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It says chat.
Okay.
So guessing that's it, right?
I see the chat, but I'm not able to see like the reactions. I don't know where to go for that.
Is the reactions, are they in a different place? So there's like a raise hand, there's a, where you can answer questions, you can like ask for a break, you can tell me to slow down.
Oh, yeah.
No, not seeing those? That's
It's
okay.
like a thumbs up.
Yeah, there should be like the thumbs up, the clap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are ways you can interact. It doesn't seem to be an issue right now, but I know in the other ones I did this morning, there was a lot of audio feedback coming back. I'm not hearing that on this one, so I don't know if it's just you guys are connected differently. So what I've been doing is kind of muting everyone just to kind of minimize that, but I don't hear that, so I'll probably just keep your mics open. If you need to chime in and you're muted, just unmute yourself and let me know who's speaking, and then we'll get your voice added. Just want to take a couple minutes to talk about the survey that you guys filled out. Thank you for that. Helpful. And so these are things that I was thinking about as I went about kind of restructuring the course. So one layer of questions I asked you about was related to access. And so most of you mentioned having access to both a device, a phone or a computer, tablet, and Wi-Fi, so internet connections to kind of allow you to be online. Though, and I think this is important to acknowledge, it's not universal. Some of you mentioned having to share devices with siblings or roommates, other folks that might limit your kind of ability to kind of hop on a moment's notice. And then many of you mentioned having either slow internet or having to depend on your phone data rather than like a Wi-Fi connection. And so these are important things to keep in mind. If you have these issues, try to let me know. So if I need to kind of make other accommodations or find ways to support you in other ways, I'll do my best. But communication is key there. But definitely something I've thought about in kind of redesigning, that I didn't want to go too hard on technology because people have different levels of access and familiarity and comfort levels with that. Other set of questions I asked you were just about your experiences with online instruction, and kind of a mixed bag here. And so many of you mentioned taking classes and said that you like it. For those of you that like it, it seemed to be mostly about convenience, that you can work at your own schedule, work at your own pacing, and you seem to like that. Those of you that didn't like it was kind of the opposite. Either you were concerned about your own layer of discipline to be able to kind of stay on top of things, or you just missed kind of having an in-class experience and having someone to ask questions of and kind of get immediate feedback. So again, this is important for me as an instructor to know. It's also challenging because you're having to accommodate different layers of expectations and preferences. I think one place where you saw this is that a lot of you mentioned discussion boards, but in different ways. So some of you mentioned liking them. So I enjoy reading and responding to my peers' comments was one version of that. For those of you that liked it, it seemed to be that you liked having like an assignment that kind of kept you honest with your reading that you could actually react to. And you seemed to also like the conversation that was happening on discussion boards between peers. Those of you that didn't like it, again, kind of the opposite, that it felt like either busy work or it felt like it wasn't really productive in terms of your learning. And so that's hard as an instructor when you have a chunk of your students that's saying like, we want this, another chunk saying we don't want this. So definitely something I was thinking about in redesigning the course. I asked you guys about potential issues that you might have that might complicate what you're doing in online instruction. A lot of you mentioned family in one way or another. So some of you talked about just having family obligations, whether it's as a parent or just as a kid in a home, not kid, sorry, adult, but as someone who lives in a home that has to kind of juggle their obligations there. Some of you mentioned having direct care obligations, whether it's having to watch siblings or your own kids. Beyond that, some of you just mentioned your family's too loud, that they're distracting, not the most conducive to learning, which is important to know. Something I hadn't really thought about ahead of time, but came up a couple times, was the loss of access to library resources. For some of you, this was just physical, like the loss of access to the physical library, into like Wi-Fi, into the devices that they offer physically. Some of you were concerned about loss of access to the library and to research. It's less of an issue in our case, though. This is valid. It reinforces the idea that not everyone has equal layers of access to the technology that we're using. This comment stood out to me. School is typically my only escape, my only place to study. I think that's valid. I think it's important to acknowledge that for a variety of reasons, home isn't always the most optimal place to study and to kind of engage in an online class. And so I take this into consideration to try to figure out how to make this as simple as possible and how to make this user-friendly, knowing that you have these complications in home and beyond. I asked you what was most important to you about this transition, and I'd say the vast majority of you had some version of course organization, putting things in the right place, having things organized by modules so that they're easy to find, clearly defined due dates, things like that. A similar amount of you mentioned the importance of feedback on my part. Can you feedback on your assignments so you have things to respond to and adjust to? Cumulatively, I took that as like, I should be doing my job. So yeah, message heard, I'll be doing that. But again, this is important to know that you're looking for kind of an easy way to kind of navigate all this. And so definitely something I'm trying to kind of perfect. Most of you noted a general preference for some real-time discussions. Most of you that mentioned that talked about the value of being able to talk about readings in particular in real time and kind of break them down to understand them kind of at a deeper level, which is usually what we're trying to do in class. And so again, a lot of you mentioned that you'd prefer some version of a real-time discussion, at least partially, to kind of keep that part of the class going. And the last thing, a lot of you mentioned the value of peer feedback, which I thought was interesting. So a lot of you mentioned wanting to have some layer of peer feedback, either just around like discussion about readings, but also on like your actual assignments, which is also good to know. So this was helpful because it gave me a sense of where you guys are coming from. What I see here kind of overall was, so a mixed bag of hesitancy, but definitely a preference for having things, as easy as possible to find, but still wanting to have some kind of feedback in real time. And so that's what I went about to try to organize. So this is what I'm going to propose. It's kind of a proposal at this point. And so if you have issues with it, or if you have issues that you think might come up with it, let me know. I'll run through it. You can ask questions if you need to. If you want to wait till I finish it and ask questions, that's fine too. But here's what I'm thinking. So what I would like to do is basically kind of replicate the kind of group work that you guys do in class. And so to do that digitally, we would just kind of form you into groups. And then my thought would be that Monday would be like your group day. So you wouldn't have to meet on Zoom. What I would do is that I would issue each group a series of discussion questions around a specific reading or two. And then, so if you're a group of 3, I would issue 3 group discussion questions. And then each group member would be responsible for their own answer for one of the questions. So again, if there's 3 members in the group, I would give you 3 questions, and then you just decide who does which question. And then you would post that to a group-specific discussion board. So it wouldn't be for the whole class. It would be limited to your group. The logic here was that this gives you an opportunity to kind of, read specific readings and react to them in kind of a communal setting. But you're doing these as individuals, and so you're not responsible for the group. And so I know some of you have those concerns with group work. The logic behind this choice was that this gives you some space to reflect on readings in your own groups. That in that sense is trying to replicate at least some of the peer interaction through group discussion boards. The idea is that even if you're not like responding to each other, you're at least reading each other's responses. And so if you're all reacting to the same readings, you can see the different angles that you guys are contributing by answering your questions. And so the hope is that you have then a more well-rounded understanding of the reading. Again, in this mode, individuals would be responsible for themselves, not the group. And so if someone missed out on their thing, it's not going to hurt your grade or your participation in that. And so to me, that was, again, that this issue comes up anytime when there's group work, that what happens if X person doesn't do what they're supposed to. And so the idea is that this keeps it to yourself. You're individually responding, so you get the benefit of the response, and then you're reacting to it. So the idea is that I give you these things on Monday or Sunday, something like that, and then you just kind of work it out on your end. And then the idea is that we would meet on Wednesdays at our normal meeting time. And so that Wednesday becomes like a Zoom meeting day. What I can do on my end then is I can break you guys out into your groups. And so I give you some time to kind of discuss the readings and discuss your answers that you posted. I can pop into those meetings as the host and kind of just listen in, or, again, kind of facilitate discussion, kind of what we do in class, just walking around. And so the idea is that, yeah, we'd spend some time in Zoom kind of broken off into your individual groups to discuss your individual readings. And then we would reconvene as a class like we normally do and just kind of bring it all together by just kind of breaking down the readings. The logic here was, again, this is real time, it's peer-to-peer discussion, which a lot of you mentioned that you valued. It's a real-time discussion of the readings, which should help you prepare for your assignments. And then it's an opportunity for real-time questions to each other, to me, what have you. And so this to me felt like kind of splitting the difference, that it's not every Monday and Wednesday, so it's kind of limited on that front. You have some prep work to get, so they're actually doing something tangible, in that we have the real-time discussion that I think we all agreed is valuable. In this model, I'm not expecting this to be perfect. I wouldn't even make this necessarily required. It would just be highly encouraged. I recognize that, again, there are issues here. The biggest one just being technology itself. That is Zoom going to be reliable? Are your devices going to be reliable? Is your Wi-Fi reliable? And so I 100% get that those things may be issues, that you may lose access to whatever on any given meeting. And so that wouldn't be held against you. There were some of you mentioned this in your surveys, of kind of worried about like extra work. And so I can kind of see that. But the weekly postings wouldn't be, for pretty low stakes, right? So they would be kind of a credit, no credit. They would be at most like a paragraph. It's just something to kind of get you thinking about the reading so that we can participate in discussion. Yeah, so that's what I came up with. Any issues here, any objections, or any things that you see might as potentially problematic here, or just questions about any of this? If you want to ask a question, you can just unmute yourself and chime in.
This is Emily. I was just curious.
Emily, yes.
Are the weekly postings going to be from the group, like assignment, or like as a group that we figure out an answer, or are they individual?
The short answer, no. That you're responding as an individual.
Okay.
So the idea is I'll give your group a series of questions, and then you just have to decide who's doing which question. If you want to go beyond that and collaborate and talk about it, that's fine, but you're not required to, and you're not submitting it as a group assignment. So I'll just be looking at your individual posts. And then basically if you did it, you did it. If you didn't, you didn't. So yeah, you're not tied to the group in that sense. It's just the group is a setting for you to have the discussion if you want, but at the very least to see what other people are writing about the same readings that you're reacting to.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right.
Clarifies.
Other questions?
Where do we find the breakout rooms?
That's something I have to do on my end. And so
Okay.
once I get you organized, then I'll just set those up. and then I would just kind of boot you into the breakout room.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's something that's that I control. Finally, some power. Other questions, concerns? General thoughts? Is this workable? Does this feel like it's something you can do, or?
Yeah. Seems good.
So Isaiah speaking for the whole class? Yes, yeah. Other thoughts? You can react. You can give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or.
It's definitely weird. It's
Okay.
like this is just like getting on to Zoom is just like, oh, like let me go to class now. I don't know. It was just like it's weird.
What was weird about it? Just the experience, or was there like a challenge that you had?
No, yeah, just like the experience, because last time we met, we were literally like, oh, we don't know if we're gonna meet Monday, and next thing you know, we didn't meet Monday. So it's
I kind of
like,
knew we weren't meeting, but I didn't know, but it's, yeah. But no, definitely like it's just a weird transition to make in the middle of a semester. So are we generally on board with this? This seems okay? I see head nods, yeah, okay. I think what we can do then is we'll just try it out this week. If it works, then we'll keep it going. If we need to make adjustments, we'll make adjustments. And so what I'll be asking you to do then is I'll set up groups on Canvas. And then if you have people that you want to work with in your groups, you can sign up individually, kind of just sign up for the same group. Or you can email me, let me know group members that you want to be with. Otherwise, if I don't hear anything by tonight, I'll just randomly assign your groups, and then you'll be in them for the remainder of the semester. And we can always change them if we need to, but yeah, so that would be step one. And then, for like this week, we'll just, I'll give you discussion questions. If you get to them, it's okay, but you don't have to. And then we can kind of actually have a discussion on Wednesday. Yeah, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So let's talk about some of the changes then. So again, in kind of moving forward, I had two main kind of guiding principles. The first and most important is just knowing that you guys are all, your parents, your grandchildren, your friends, that your real world lives are really important right now and probably more important than the course. And so what I wanted to do is find some ways to kind of limit the burden a little bit. And so my hope was that the class, again, isn't like an added layer of stress for you. That even in the best case scenario, it gives you something to kind of focus on outside of the real world. It allows you just to kind of work on something and kind of complete tasks and just feel good about, progressing on that front. The second thing that I was thinking about in all of this was a lot of what we talked about before we left. And I think a lot of you, the tone of your comments were just kind of concerns about like, what is it going to mean education-wise? That some of that was expressed just like as concern about workloads and whatnot. I think there's some of you were talking about this, like not wanting to just like post things and not just wanting to read things and kind of in a vacuum and then respond to them in a vacuum. And so a larger point is that I wanted to have like still a course and try to get as much of the classroom experience as we can. That definitely for those of you that, at the end of the day, like paid for a class and you're expecting to learn a skill and practice it. And so I'd still like you to have that opportunity. And so it's trying to, kind of keep the class, but also recognizing that there's a larger issue in the real world that's probably taking away your time and energy from the class. And so what I wanted to do then is try to find a balance between those things and kind of still have a structure there, but kind of have that structure be a little bit looser and kind of give you a little more flexibility. And so what I did is I streamlined some of the assignments. And so what we have left then will be basically what you left off with, which is your 2-page corporate power précis. That's the edit of the one page. And so I'm guessing a lot of you had already started on that, or if not, you definitely have the one page to work off of. And so we'll have that due. We'll still do our topical précis. I think there's value in the précis. I think it's a good way to practice your efficiency as writers. And so we'll keep those 3. So you have 3 of those in total. And those are formatted the same way as the one-page corporate power précis that you wrote. It's just there'll be different topics. I kept the metacognitive essay. This is a reflection essay that we do at the end of the semester. This is just an opportunity for you to reflect on, kind of what you've learned, who you are as a writer at the end of the course versus who you were at the beginning of the course. And obviously now you have a lot to react to. So I think these should be entertaining essays, which is why I kept it. And then obviously the final research essay is still there. What I deleted then, and so these are things that are in the original syllabus, are the remaining class preparation assignments. Logic there is that most of that labor now is just being done with your group discussion board posts. Took out the letter to the editor. That assignment felt a little bit redundant in the grand scheme of what we're doing. So I took that out. And then I took out the in-class final essay because we're not meeting in class. I like that essay to be like a handwritten essay. So obviously we can't do that, so I took it out. And then I took out the presentations. I'll go into more detail in a second. And so again, the idea is that you have stuff due like more or less every other week rather than every week. And so the hope is that that kind of eases your workload a little bit and that this becomes manageable. These are all things, again, I can be flexible on with due dates and whatnot. But yeah, like it's just, we left it an awkward part of the semester because we were really getting into the meat of everything. And so there's still a good chunk of stuff left. But again, I made some cuts there to kind of streamline it. Also streamline the readings a little bit. And so what I'll be doing is organizing everything around our weekly modules. Those weeks, though, will be themselves organized around topics. And so I just, again, kind of simplified things. And so in the original syllabus, sometimes we were doing 2 topics per week. Now we're just doing 1 topic each week, just to kind of keep it direct. And so crime and justice this week, welfare next week, and then we'll get into race, housing and segregation, healthcare, and then corporate social responsibility. So this means I dropped a couple of topics. If you want kind of the articles that would have been assigned, I can give those to you if you're still on that topic. But again, the research project is set up that you can do it without those if you need to. Also limiting the use of Derber and Loeb. Not my favorite thing because I really like the way that those things come together at the end of the course. But it just made sense because of where we are in the semester, just to kind of keep it simple and organized around those topics. And so the remainder of the reading then will basically be kind of PDFs and whatnot attached to those topics. So the idea was to kind of just simplify that. Yeah. And then the research project, some of the main changes here is that if we haven't met yet, I'd still like to meet. It's just obviously those meetings now will be virtual rather than in person. And so we can meet over Zoom, we can meet over Skype or FaceTime or even just a phone call if we need to. But I still want to have that conversation because I think it's really valuable and I want to get a sense of where you guys are headed. I took out the presentations and just made the most sense. That having you to kind of asking you to learn like a whole new technology and asking the rest of us to learn how to kind of the best ways to react to that just didn't feel right kind of in a compressed time frame. So I just cut those. The other change I made is that instead of having the first draft go to the Learning Center, we'll just do that in-house and I'll set up peer review on Canvas. And so each will be responsible for reviewing someone's essay. And then the idea is the same though, that you'll get some feedback and you'll use that feedback to work on your other drafts. Other main change I made is that in the original planning of this, I was requiring you to meet with me to go over your second draft. I still like to do that. I'm just making that optional rather than required. The main logic there is just, again, if you have issues that are going to make it difficult to meet, I didn't want to have an extra deadline that would cause you stress and anxiety. But I very much encourage you to take advantage of it. And so, in other words, I'm more than happy to meet with you and go over your second draft. And will definitely make myself available. The way that would work is you would just send me your draft through email or Canvas or whatnot, and then we would set up an online meeting and just discuss it, and I'd give you my feedback verbally. And so 100% highly encourage you to do that. I'll make myself available for that. I'm just not making it required as part of your final project grade. The other big change then is I just cut out all the different due dates, and we're just all due during finals week. So we're not on different schedules here based on your topic. All the assignments will be due, again, basically at the same time during finals week. Other note here, the Learning Center is open, if you didn't know that, and they are offering virtual tutoring, including for writing. So if you're looking for extra layers of feedback, those are available. They're available too. The last thing I didn't put on here, but I will be holding virtual office hours, and so I'll be posting a link to Canvas for Zoom office hours. If whatever reason, if Zoom doesn't work or you just want to use something else, just let me know, and I'll try my best to accommodate you. What I've scheduled right now is Tuesdays and Thursdays. I think I put 10 a.m. to like 11:30. Obviously, I have nowhere to be. So those times don't work. Just send me an email with a time that does work, and I'll I'll try to accommodate you. What I'm probably going to end up doing is creating like probably on the discussion board, like in essence, like a sign-in sheet for those that need to meet with me about their papers, just so we can kind of start slotting those in and get you on your way sooner rather than later. Yeah. Questions, comments, concerns here? Again, you can unmute yourself and just chime in.
You assigned us. That's the topic we're gonna do, right?
Who's talking?
Diana.
Diana.
Yeah, when was
Ask your question again.
I said whatever topic you assigned us, that stays the same, right? For our paper.
Ideally, if you want to change it, just talk to me. So if there's something else that works better for you, I'm okay with you changing. Yeah, so that's not that big of a deal, but it's, those topics were meant to be flexible to begin with, and so we can just talk about like what you want to focus on. But I think you're better off just kind of starting with that and just see if you have like a more specific topic within that topic. If you just can't find anything and you feel like you need to switch, we can definitely talk about that.
Okay.
Other questions, comments?
Yeah, me.
Oh.
Me.
Go ahead.
Me. Go ahead. Who's talking?
It's Maribel.
All right.
Sorry, I was in and out of this whole thing. I don't know what was going on with my Zoom, but
Okay.
I had a question. Is this recorded? Like, can we come back to it and rewatch this, or? Yeah.
Yeah, it's recorded, and I'll post it to Canvas. So in that
Okay,
same.
because I missed.
Start again.
I missed like most of this, like
It's okay.
most of the whole conversation.
So I'll post the video. So if you want to watch the video, and then I'll also post the PowerPoint if you just want to take a look at it. I'll also be
Okay, thank
posting
you.
an updated syllabus, basically, with the reading schedule and assignment schedule. And so I wanted to talk to you all first just to kind of finalize everything. But yeah, I'll get that up later tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Other questions, comments?
For next Wednesday,
Okay.
the class meeting's from 3 to 5, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna try to do this Wednesday.
Or this Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So just at our normal time. So we won't go to 5, but we'll probably like 3 to 4:30-ish.
Okay.
Even not even that long. Just depends on how much we can get through. Yeah. And that'll be posted as so basically that'll be a recurring meeting. So that'll be the same link. So I'll update the link, and it'll just be one link all the time. So you just click on the same link each Wednesday, and it'll take you into the meeting. And the office hours will work the same. They don't have kind of a permanent link, so you can just drop in. What's different about the office hours is I can kind of put you into wait lists, basically, so I can meet with you individually. But it'll all be based off of the same meeting or Zoom meeting link. Yeah. Other questions?
Me, Maribel, again.
Yeah.
So are they normally going to be like an hour, you said, or they're going to be shorter, like our Zoom meetings?
The short answer is I don't know. We'll kind of see how it goes Wednesday. I'm kind of assuming they'll be a little bit shorter than normal, just because it'll be structured differently than our normal class. But definitely won't go longer.
Okay.
And I'll try to keep it like, I think an hour and a half is probably the max. Yeah. Other questions?
Can I ask something that's not regarding class?
No. No, go ahead.
Well, it's just how are you doing?
How am I doing? Look at that. Look at that.
I was
Someone
gonna ask
cares
that
about their
right
grade.
now.
I appreciate
I was
that.
just gonna ask that right now.
I'm good. I'm fine. Like it's.
Are you staying home
Yeah.
or are you?
These are my books. I'm home.
So you have plenty to read.
Yeah. It's not a green screen. These are real books, not a poster. Again, you guys have no books. I don't know what's wrong with you. But no, I'm good. It's definitely a weird time, but I'm generally fine with being home. So, you guys doing good? Are you adjusting to this or
Yeah, just eating a lot.
eating a lot?
Yeah.
Have you found like a new go-to food or
Almonds.
what's that?
Just everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Have we found TP? Are you guys good with toilet paper? Fresno's like out still, or at least it was a couple of days ago. Yeah. Anyone selling anything on the side? You got some like black market toilet paper hookups? No. Yeah. The last thing, not the last thing, but one of the last things I'll say is and again, I know it's easy for me to say this, but my hope is that for you to not let grades be like a concern in all this. Like, I'm very loath to say like I would grade easier, but I'm very much aware of like what's going on. And these are discussions that professors are having kind of on our end about like what's the right approach here. Like, what do we, how much kind of rigor do we keep versus kind of acknowledging this is a unique situation. And so I'm very much aware of kind of where we are. I think you guys are all in a good place, like when we ended the class, grade-wise. And so I don't think this is an issue of passing and not passing at this point. This is just a matter of like what you're trying to aim for. So I think if you're able just to keep up and finish what's left, you should do fine grade-wise. I'm always happy to give you feedback on things that you're looking to improve on and kind of work on.
Thank you.
But if I'm 100% honest, yeah, it's probably not the same as if we would have stayed in class. That kind of trying to balance that idea of you all, like we all are trying to kind of navigate a very weird time right now. And that creates a lot of, drag on your time and your energy. Like I know, like I've just, I spent a lot of my day reading about stuff. And that takes away energy and time from grading and setting things up for class. And so I assume it's the same for other people, whether you're doing that or just kind of, taking care of your family or just trying to kind of keep your mental health in order. So all those things are very much acknowledged and go into things like grading. So I would try not to let that be a concern. I think you guys are all good. I still want to have like a class that we can kind of do work in, and hopefully that work is a little bit of a distraction more than a kind of source of anxiety. So that's where I'm coming from. So my job is to just help us on my end kind of get through this particular course. And I know you have other courses that you're juggling. So yeah. Other courses are going well. Is it mostly Zoom or I guess, are there other versions of this you guys are doing?
My yoga class turned into a writing class.
Your yoga class?
Yep.
So you're writing about yoga or what's that like?
Yeah. She's like, look
is
up
what
a
I did
yoga
today?
article and just write about it. And I'm like, I wanted to do yoga. But
Are you writing about your own yoga? So like today I did downward dog.
no, not even. It was
No?
like yoga articles, look them up and write about it.
Interesting. What was the original class? You did yoga?
Yeah, we actually did yoga. Yep.
I mean, you can still do it.
I mean, I do still do it,
Yeah.
but still kind of disappointed this 1 unit class turned into a writing class.
You'll benefit in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is everything else Zoom, or are there other things like asynchronous where you're just kind of posting things?
Honestly, it's only
That's what that is?
yeah, only this class is Zoom for me, and everything
Right.
else,
Yeah.
everything's on. Yeah.
So what's everything else? Just hear some articles and respond? And...
Yeah, we have like a virtual textbook that we can like play around with, and she gives us assignments and feeds it through that. That's for my French class, and then my other class, my other two classes are already online, so it's basically just this one for me. Yeah.
So my whole life is Zoom right now
All right.
because of my work schedule,
Okay.
because of my job. We operate the countywide 211 system, so I haven't stopped working. And this is like my 4th Zoom meeting today. I saw in the comments, hello?
Yeah.
I saw in the comments that folks were talking about unemployment and getting hours cut. There will be, if you have a need for food, and I think the pantry's still open at Fresno State, but
Okay.
so you can dial 211 or log on to 211, depending on which county you're in, probably Fresno. If you're in Kings, it's 211kingscounty.org. If you're in Tulare, 211 tularecounty.org, and you can get resources on rent assistance, food assistance, utility assistance, and stuff like that. So,
What is 211 exactly?
211 is a resource and referral. So we have in Kings County, we have a database with about 800 programs that we update constantly. So that if you have, say for example, you need help with rent, then you can dial, in Kings County, you can dial 211, you can download our mobile app, or you can log on to 211. If you call, you get a live call specialist 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year. And they will tell you what resources are available in your community to help.
Okay. And is that, so I know someone posted about like unemployment. Does that cover like that kind of stuff too, or that's?
It doesn't cover unemployment. It's strictly programs and services like food programs, utility programs, rent assistance, mental health services, all like service related stuff.
That's good. Definitely take advantage of that if you need assistance. My general understanding is that if your work has been cut or reduced by all of this, that you are eligible for unemployment. I think that's been streamlined a little bit. So I would definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You pay for those things as taxpayers, so get what you need. That's good to know about the pantry. Is that confirmed? Does anyone know this for sure? Are we open? The Fresno State Pantry?
The last email I got, they were still open. So I would confirm before I go.
Yeah. I mean, so there are resources out there, but take advantage of them. Brenda, you asked about August. I have no idea. I'm assuming by then things are better, but who knows?
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm a dog days orientation leader for this summer, and we're postponing our training right now, so I'm kind of nervous. Yeah.
So you guys gonna do Zoom dog days?
They said that we can't do that because we have to get paid, and if we're not on the institution, then we can't get paid. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, say it again. If you're not like on campus, you can't get paid?
Yeah, like it has to be in person, not online training, and it's not considered as, being paid online or something like that. Like we can't do that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would push back on that. Maybe they find ways to make exceptions.
Like you're getting paid by teaching online, right?
I am. I am. Yes, I am. I like teaching, but I wouldn't be doing this for free. No, universities are large, complicated bureaucracies, and so like definitely when money gets involved, there's all these issues of who's paying it, where it's coming from, and they have their own guidelines for all that. But I think like because of the uniqueness of the situation, I think sometimes pushing back on these things, sometimes you never know what they're willing to kind of make exceptions for. Yeah, that sucks though. Yeah, I know I've seen that like around the like the country that just what are students doing that are like getting into schools now and like their financial aid's kind of up in there, their housing's up in the air. It's a weird time, definitely. Yeah. Other resources anyone knows has known about or used that's been helpful? Just out of curiosity? No? Parents? Grandparents? Yeah. Okay, so I seen Annette posted the 2-in-1 links. I can post those on Canvas too. Yeah. All right, so just to kind of summarize, I think what we have is getting you guys into groups. And so if you have groups that you want to be in or people you want to work with, I'll set that up on it's in the People tab in Canvas. It's not up yet, but it will be after we're done. So you can just sign up for the same group if you want to go that route, or you can email me members that you want to work with and I can assign you. Otherwise, I'll just kind of make it random by the end of the night so that you have groups that you're in. And then we'll meet Wednesday. For Wednesday, just if you have the readings done, that'll be good. And then we'll kind of transition next week into kind of a more formal structure that's set up here. And so I'll be giving you discussion questions and the like. And then we'll meet next Wednesday. Again, I think your kind of immediate things to be aware of would be, again, the group work, or just not the group work, but getting into your groups. Research projects should still be ongoing. And so if we haven't met yet, we'll need to set up a meeting. So you might want to think about a time that works for you. And then, yeah, the other things are just kind of moving forward and kind of adapting to kind of a week by week model. Yeah. Other general questions, comments, concerns? Cats? No more cats?
You said you were gonna update the syllabus, or
Yeah.
did you do that?
It's done on my end. I haven't posted it yet.
Okay.
Diana asked office hours. Right now I'm scheduled Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 to 11:30. But again, I can be available other times if need be. Yeah. Other questions? It's weird to try to keep looking at you and then looking at a chat screen.
I have a question in regards to setting up an appointment, like
Okay.
for your topic. When will we start doing that?
I mean, sooner rather than later. We can try to knock those out. You know, over the next week or two is probably good. So we're not all going at once, but because everything's been pushed back to the end of the semester anyway, you have a little more time. But you probably want to get started sooner rather than later. So I'll post something on discussion board. Kind of just you can post some times that you have available, and I'll see what I can accommodate. Yeah. Other questions? All right. Well, I'll stick around for a little bit if anyone has questions that you want to ask, just specific questions or what have you. But yeah, thanks for showing up. This is fun, maybe, kind of. It's definitely new to me. It's interesting. It's weird just to see like a bunch of like random boxes on my screen. I see a thumbs up. What I learned in practice for this is that you can change the skin tone of your thumbs up. Yeah, so you can make it a darker shade if you want to be more representative of your actual skin tone. Yeah, So there's that. Can you guys see those or no? So like Chloe just reacted. Can you see that? And Elena? Or is that just a
Trying
Maya?
to change the skin tone. It's
I
not
can't see
working.
it.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh
No?
yeah, I
do
see
it
it.
sometime.
You guys are all yellow?
I'm using a mobile phone. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Ah.
You're supposed to change it on the settings.
Oh, in the settings, so like it's a permanent,
Yeah.
not like
It's
your
on your
text.
Chrome account.
Interesting. These are important things to think about. Like, do you want your thumb to match your actual thumb? Or are you okay with just being yellow? Yeah. There's an option, I don't know if I should tell you that, like, maybe you've seen this. There's an option of like touching up your appearance, which I thought was weird. I didn't use it. This is all natural. But yeah, you can like touch up your appearance, like eliminate blemishes, I guess. Yeah. So it's weird. Well, it's definitely an interesting world we're all jumping into. But yeah, thanks for showing up. We'll meet again on Wednesday. I'll get all that posted. If you have questions after this, you can email me. Again, I'll stick around on here for a couple minutes if you want to ask stuff. And this will all be posted and be available like an hour or two on Canvas. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Be healthy, be safe.
You too. I have to hop off the staff meeting, but I want to thank you for, first of all, allowing us to give feedback and then taking that feedback into consideration. It is a stressful time. So I appreciate your willingness to adapt the course and to be a little flexible. I think if there's ever a time that we need flexibility, it's now.
Yeah, no, I felt like it was the only right thing to do. Again, like for me, it's hard because I don't want to not teach. And so like for this class in particular, like there's a value in the work, but I also recognize that you can't do everything. And so just trying to find that middle ground. So we'll just keep those conversations open. So as we move through this, like if we meet Wednesday and it doesn't work, then we can make adjustments. If we're having problems with individual assignments or whatnot, just if you keep that line of communication open, I can make adjustments on my end.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
See you next Wednesday?
This Wednesday.
Okay, awesome. Be safe, everyone.
You too.
You too. Good luck.
Thank you.
I see a kid. Hi, kid. Go get some books.
You say we have to read something by Wednesday, or did I misinterpret?
Yeah, do what you can. Like, so those readings are posted already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the crime and justice readings. Uh-oh.